Good morning, Dr. Pranavan. We removed and recording started. Kindly mute your mics, please. So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening in the different continents, in the different parts of the world, wherever you are. Green morning, green afternoon, and green evening to everyone. Wishing you all a very, very happy day, happy afternoon, happy evening, and of course, some of the people, those will be going for good night also, that we will take separately. Let me start this wonderful day in India. 5th of September is celebrated as India's Teachers' Day because that is India's former late President of India, Radhakrishnan ji's birthday. That is being celebrated, that's being observed, and that's being taken as Happy Teachers' Day. So world over, all the people, those are joining us, because I always wonder why people feel like coming in the social media more on Facebook and YouTube than to be coming in the webinar on the Zoom directly. Those have joined us on the Facebook from the different parts of the world, open ICSI, International Chamber for Service Industry, or very simple, open Dr. Gulshan Sharma's page, come on the Facebook, open your watch party, let more and more people join from world over, wherever you are. I will try to go a little slow. We will take a help of some slides as well, because different nationalities, different people from different countries, different continents, at different time zones, they are joining us over here. So ladies and gentlemen, happy Teachers' Day. That is India's Teachers' Day. And to share with all of you, 5th of September is being celebrated in India as India's Teacher Day, and the World Teacher Day is celebrated on 5th of October, that is by the United Nations. Okay, now let's roll a couple of slides so that we all are on the common frequency and we understand what is the purpose. Now, this is something which is remarkably somebody has done from India. Teach you in a room, I will teach you now on Zoom. I will teach you in your house, I will teach you with a mouse. I will teach you here and there, and I will teach because I care. So, ladies and gentlemen, this particular message, when we hear from all the teachers across the world, a good teacher can inspire hope, ignite imagination, and instill the love of learning. So happy Teachers' Day to all of you, wherever you are world over. It's India Teachers' Day. Now, our chamber, because we are taking care of the non-resident Indian, and when we talk about 30 million non-resident Indians abroad, and when we talk about this particular confluence, when we talk about this particular group, now either they are working for someone or they have generated employment for someone, and they are trying to help the best possible way, whatever can be done to project the image, positive image, vibrant image. And at the same time, during this lockdown, our chamber from world over, from the different continents and countries, right, starting from Canada, United States, Latin America, entire Europe, Central Asia, Middle East, ASEAN, we have gone to South Korea, Taiwan, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, and of course Mauritius, Seychelles, and entire African continent, and then of course on the soil of India. When we talk about, while extending a very hearty welcome to each one of you, we wish to share right from the day the pandemic and this particular thing was declared in India, from 25th of March onward, we are trying to gather all the non-resident Indians together world over in different countries and different continents. Is the non-resident Indians, corporate and the government interface, what could be done to make education relevant? Like you have the doctors, you have the nurses, you have the paramedical people. Similar way, ladies and gentlemen, teachers, principals, educators, administrators, counselors, and most important, today we have realized the technocrats, the people, those are from the digital and the technology background, those are giving the backup plan to the entire education and education ecosystem empowerment. With that, there are a couple of other things which we are doing every day. We will share subsequently with you. Congratulations to everybody in India, because the new education policy which was announced on 29th of July in India, and something very interesting I was trying to coin with all my non-resident fellow Indians abroad here in different countries. And when we were talking from Canada, when we were talking from Singapore and a couple of other places, they were telling us, if you flip the last two digits, over here it is written the last policy in India was in 1986. That means 34 years back. You just flip the last two words. 86 if you reverse and make it 68. So 1968 was the first education policy. The 1986 was the second education policy, the Kothari Commission, and thereafter the new one. And then thereafter minor changes in 1992 or something. And now is the main education policy, the changes which are brought, and that is Punaha. That means once again how India can become the knowledge superpower, because India was Vishwaguru. If India has to become Vishwaguru once again, of course, technology, software, hardware, and whatever is required in a digital mode, a lot is being done. But at the same time, the classroom pedagogy, and of course for the adult, the andragogy, skills, competencies. So there's a new, particularly this new education policy, when we talk about, there's a lot to share. And today we are going to get a lot of warriors. Those are going to discuss with us what exactly is happening, what should be done, how it can be done, what will be done, and how the India will see the daylight and work out. During this lockdown, the thought processes are affected, business is affected, physical and mental health is affected, and the main part of the universe is that the education is deeply affected. When our chamber was talking just day before yesterday, and we were learning from the UNESCO, 1.86 billion children are at present away from schools, institutions, colleges, polytechnics, ITIs, and skill centers, whatever we can talk about. And at the same time, there's another dimension which has come, almost 11 lakh, that means 11 million we are talking about, 1.1. That is 11 million girls are planning, and some data is getting collected from the different sources. Those are planning to drop out this after this pandemic. So that is something very serious, which we got to look into, because the girl child is very important. When you educate a male member, you educate individual. But when you educate a girl child, you educate subsequent generation, not one family, but it is couple of generations. And from India, soil of India, people talk about Vasudev Kutumbakam, one world, one love, one family. When we talk about this entire thing, ladies and gentlemen, from Monday to Sunday, once again, I'd say it's not Monday to Friday and Saturday and Sunday is a holiday. No, Monday to Sunday, all the 7 days, 7 to 8 p.m., every evening, there's a making education relevant global confluence of educators and motivators. And as far as our chamber is concerned, 12 hours, non-stop, complimentary empowerment. We have started from 25th of March until date, that is on our global finishing school from the chamber, teachers, educators, counselors, students, youth, those are interested to get any kind of a hand holding. We are reaching out all the countries, Mongolia, all the teachers and students and everybody, Central Asia, Middle East, we have done a couple of programs together, Latin America, where the Spanish language and our president, our chamber president, one of the presidents over there, because 149 countries, we are at present from the chamber deeply associated. We are trying to have the confluence of the non-resident Indian. This is something very interesting we would like to share from our chamber side quickly before we start today's first panel discussion. ICSI is working towards non-resident Indians and the corporate inputs as far as the new education policy. Come forward, we have told all the non-resident Indians, because this is the sector now India has to focus if we have to become self-reliant. It doesn't make a difference what you become in your life, and particularly the arts, commerce, science, non-medical, medical and all the barriers have been removed. And the other day when Asha Bhosle ji complimented the entire government, it was a great soothing world over, and all the people, whether they are on the shore of the downtown Ontario, Mississauga, in Canada on the eastern part, or on the western part in British Columbia, or they were in Vancouver, or they are in New York, or they are in California, or they are in Peru, or they are in Costa Rica, or Venezuela, or Brazil, or if I talk about people, those are down over here in the Middle East, everybody appreciated that now with science you can take music, with commerce you can take fashion designing. So much new is coming up in the education. The only concern is that it should be implemented in totality. So non-resident Indians are getting ready, how we can help India to become self-reliant, and those are in education sector who would be looking forward to some kind of a inputs, assistance, and any kind of a technical, financial, VCs, venture capitalists, or other kind of assistance and all, our chamber would be more than happy to assist in that. And under CSR also, we are trying to work out with some of the NGOs. Government of India should encourage investment in education sector. SEZ, which was earlier known as Special Economic Zone, now it should be termed as Special Education Zones, because we must develop special education zones. It can do wonders. Another recommendation which we have given to Government of India, to the Honorable Prime Minister's office, as well as to the Education Minister, Dr. Ramesh Pokhriyal, and Dr. Mahendra Nath Pandey, that is the Skills and Entrepreneurship Ministry, that 2% under the CSR, which at present in India, which goes to various sectors and all as a CSR activity, it should be dedicated for next 5 years to education sector if we are really serious to have 6% of the GDP coming to the education sector investment. 500 top corporate, when we talk in India, we are trying to reach out and we are trying to request them that for the next 5 years, let's focus on education. Because if education is empowered, everything would be fine. And this morning, when I was talking to some of the principals, some of the educators, some of the administrators, it was great to learn from them the Government of India to focus on seamless connectivity and of course the basic equipment to be provided for digital education. No new construction of 4 walls and the bricks and all that, rather those physical construction should take place, rather the global confluence should be now for the education. That's what we are looking forward to. Now, today, we have got 4 very powerful sessions. We have got 2 sessions before lunch and we have got 2 sessions post lunch. And thereafter, you have got your recognition, your awards and your honors and everything at 4 o'clock in the evening. So it's a great pleasure. And I'm grateful to Amit Pundir, who has packaged this entire program from India. We from abroad, from the different countries, send across our greetings to everyone in India on India Education Teachers Day. And this is the fourth program which we are bringing together, making education relevant. So this morning, we have got a very vibrant panels, and they would be discussing and deliberating with all of us. So ladies and gentlemen, I just give you the glimpses quickly before I take you, and I hand you over in the safe hands of Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay, the CEO of the Rungta Group of the schools. He will be moderating the first technical session, morning session, and that is impact of teaching, learning, assessment, curriculum, and the pedagogy on the new normal in education. That would be. With him, we have got Pratima Gupta ji, we have got Ritu Shrivastava ji, Shalja Reddy ma'am, we have got Sapna Sankla ji, Bhushan Kumar ji, and S.C. Sharma. They'll be coming in the first session. Then we'll have a short break for 10 minutes. Of course, in a digital way, you can enjoy your tea and coffee, and we can have the session going on. Then 12:10, we will start the next session. That is, how is technology changing the face of the education panel discussion? That we will take on. And thereafter, you will have a quick lunch. And thereafter, we will go for, ladies and gentlemen, third session, India's new education policy, how it can affect a child development. And then we will have the fourth session, that is international collaboration between schools to improve innovation and research-based education. So these are the four technical sessions. And thereafter at 4 p.m., we all will get together to celebrate. So our chamber from abroad, from the fraternity of the non-resident Indian, send our best wishes and greetings to everyone in India. We send our regards to everybody in India. And we believe whatsoever human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. The most important thing is you have conceived the idea now that the new education policy, you got to believe in that idea. That means you got to implement that. And then you got to see the outcome, what exactly is the outcome and what all we have achieved. So let's come together. Let's make education relevant. It's a global confluence of the educators, motivators, technocrats, counselors, wellness experts, because at present spondylitis, particularly the eye strains and a couple of other things. So don't forget, every Saturday evening, 7 o'clock, we have got Ayurveda for the global wellness, particularly for the teachers' wellness, and we have got for the youth wellness, we talk on to that. So tomorrow is Saturday. In India at 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time, you will have a special program on wellness. Then come the corporate, government administrator, and decision maker, all of them together, what we are working out as far as this program is concerned. So ladies and gentlemen, of course, with these words, we will be coming to our first panel discussion of this morning. And I hand you over in the safe hands of my friend, Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay from India. He's the CEO of the Rungta Group of Schools. He's going to moderate the discussion this morning, and he has got his panel with him, very vibrant panel. And we extend a very warm welcome to his panelists. And we go on to impact on teaching, learning, assessment, curriculum, and pedagogy on the new normal in education. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, getting you in the safe hands in India on India's Teachers' Day to Mr. Arup Mukhopadhyay ji. Kindly unmute your mic, sir. You got to unmute your mic. You got to unmute.
Good morning, Dr. Sharma.
Yes.
Good morning, Dr. Sharma.
Hearty welcome.
Good morning, everybody.
I can hear you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So our session is starting at 11 o'clock, and we try to finish it by 12 o'clock as you given a time, by 12:05. Okay, we'll make it. Okay. So good morning, all the panel member, attendees, the people from all over the world watching this very important day of India's Teachers' Day. And it's all the topics, that whole discussion would be circling on our education system. How this education has spanned over, how the new policy has come. And at the same time, it's a very interesting point that this is the first time we are celebrating this day on a medical crisis, in the background of a medical crisis, unprecedented medical crisis. It gives a lot of opportunity for the student how to become innovative and conduct the Teachers' Day. What ways they can do it. So I had a wonderful post few days back inviting all the students, all the teachers to collaborate on Teachers' Day. So I would also take this opportunity to wish very happy Teachers' Day of all my panel members. We are all coming from the similar education domain. And I would request if you could kindly introduce yourself quickly with maybe one or two sentences so that audience and the participant can understand who's speaking what behalf. Could you please start one by one?
Yes. Good morning, everyone, and Jai Hind.
Yes, Mrs. Pratima Gupta.
Yeah.
I welcome you.
Right. I'm Mrs.
Please.
Pratima Gupta from Varanasi. I'm the Assistant Director of the Sunbeam Group of Educational Institutions. We are a group that comprises of 26 schools and 2 colleges. So literally speaking, we go from playgroup to post-graduation, from PG to PG. And I'm so happy to be here on this wonderful occasion with all the panelists. And I'm sure that this Teachers' Day, we are going to witness a new revolution where teaching and learning is concerned. Welcome all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Gupta. It's wonderful to have you in this panel member. Could you please can I ask Mrs. Sailaja Reddy?
Morning, everyone. I'm Shalaja Reddy and I'm from Pallavi Model School, Boinpalli. This is in Hyderabad and we are a group of schools. We are 16 schools now and growing. And I'm the principal of the oldest branch there, which has spent almost 26 years in the field of education and still stands tall. And I am very happy to be a part of this discussion. I hope I'll be able to add value. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Reddy. It's wonderful having you the sensation. So come back. May I ask the next panelist? I can't read the name. I think Mrs. Sapna Sankala.
Yeah.
Mrs. Yeah.
A very happy morning to everyone. I am Sapna Sankla. I am the senior principal of RMK Residential Senior Secondary School in Chennai. And as said by most of you, yeah, this is a very, very special Teachers' Day for us in many, many different ways. Because first thing is very seamlessly, the entire education fraternity has switched over to the online mode. That is one thing. And secondly, we all are in the discussion and the implementation phase of the new education policy. So that makes it more special. And I hope today's discussion is going to be really worthy and we all would be able to share our thoughts and also present it to everyone. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. I think we have next panelist with us, Mr. Bhushan Kumar. Could you please, sir?
Yeah. So am I audible? Hello.
Yes,
Mr.
Audible. Please go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Kumar,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So good morning to all
Please go ahead.
educators. Good morning to all educators present today. Great pleasure to be part of such session and participating. And good that we are all going to share something common, that we belong to such a good industry where we are training the young ones. I am the regional school director, a young learner with just 34 years of experience. I feel I'm a learner. I keep on learning every day. I belong to Mount Literacy school chain. We've got 120 schools operational and great going, adding 8 or 10 schools every year. So I wish happy Teachers' Day to all educators. It's great to be part of such session with no face-to-face connect, but all online and with technology playing a very important role for all young learners and the learners who are going to hand over batons to them. We will surely rock and bring that change to the young ones so that they can lead from the front. So I hand it over to the next panelist.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I think I don't see any more panel member. Is there anybody?
One more.
In the frame? Yeah, I can't see in my frame. So could you please, sir?
You got to
Could you
unmute.
please?
You got to unmute yourself. Mr. S.C. Sharma, you got to unmute yourself. Yes.
Good morning, everyone,
Yes,
and
Mr.
happy
Sharma.
Teachers' Day to everybody. And it is my really great pleasure. Actually, most of the speakers have spoken. It's their great pleasure. Really, it is my greatest pleasure to be in the panel here amongst you all. You are all educators, men of letters, and dignitaries. My name is S.C. Sharma, Satish Chandra Sharma. I'm the teacher. Working as a teacher, you can see my virtual image at the background. Actually, I was teaching class. Okay, so I used this virtual image, okay, for like teaching it. And really, I'm very happy on this auspicious day. I am in this great panel and we are going to learn a lot. Particularly, basically, I'm a teacher. I'm working with Lakshmi Patsingania Academy, which is an organization of JK Lakshmi Cement. All right. So I'm going to learn a lot of things from here. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. Well, I think these are the all panel members. Myself, Arup. My name is Arup Mukhopadhyay, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Rungta Group of School. It's based in Raipur, Vilai, and Durg in Chhattisgarh. At the same time, I work as a principal advisor of UNACO Group of School in Northeast in Imphal, and the strategic consultant from this group called Royal Global in Assam in Guwahati. At the same, I have some certain work which is spanning over to Southeast Asia, Africa, like Maldives, Tanzania, Kenya, and Dubai. So these are the places I'm basically working on K-12. And my major thrust has been how there will be a pedagogical shift in the learning. Okay, I always believe that the school has nothing to do with much infrastructure. School believes that school purpose has been the learning. So in this pursuit, we will be taking this our discussion. And the topic with us this morning is impact on teaching, learning, assessment, curriculum, and pedagogy in the new normal. I think this word new normal we first heard sometimes in 2009-10 when we had a recession, economic recession. So when we are bouncing back and we thought that how we'll be bouncing back in, and exactly after a decade, and this word new normal has surfaced out again after a massive, the pandemic, which rocked the world. So education sector, the way the teachers have sprang into action. So I would start with Mrs. Pratima Gupta. So Mr. Pratima Gupta, if you can tell me your view in terms of that how the new normal education system evolved in terms of curriculum. So if take one area, so that will be better. So if you could touch upon something that how the curriculum will play an important role in the K-12 sector in new normal.
Thank you so much. Well, very honestly, we were caught unaware, frankly telling, all of us across the length and breadth of the globe. We were not prepared for this at all. And initially, when we all started, for us and for a whole lot of people, we were in the midst of examinations, so the planning for the new academic session had been done to a certain extent. But when the pandemic hit everyone, the thought was that this is perhaps something which is going to go away, say in a couple of months max, or in 2 months, or say 1.5 months. At that point of time, what started out initially was a makeshift arrangement to see that there is no interruption in reaching out to students, and that a semblance of normalcy is assumed, and more than anything else, that there is a connect between the student as well as the teacher, between the school and the students and the parent fraternity. But as time went by, somewhere around mid-May, this realization hit everyone that this is something which is going to be here for a very long time. And that simply meeting the challenge on a short-term basis is not going to be the real answer, but there has to be a metamorphosis towards an entire redesigning of curriculum so that we are able to tide through the challenges that are there in the teaching learning modalities, and which are going to be sustaining. The greatest challenge, of course, I personally feel for everyone when it came to curriculum was the need to establish the understanding and comprehension level of a student in the virtual medium. Attention spans and concentration of the student on a virtual medium was extremely erratic to begin with. The very thought that a student will not be able to, physically walk up to a teacher, or that issues regarding attentiveness, issues regarding regularity and attendance will not be able to be monitored effectively on a virtual medium were transient thoughts which the teachers had. But curriculum now has catered to the fact that not only a pandemic, but even as and when there are other reasons which are going to cause schools to shut down for some time, learning is not going to stop. Teaching is not going to stop. So the biggest challenge to the curriculum was to adapt all teaching learning modalities to a virtual medium without this kind of a feeling that one day soon we are going to come back to schools and we will be able to address all the gaps that have happened on this. Content transfer as a result started becoming more visual rather than instructional. Learning changed from actually rote learning to having opportunities in the curriculum for self-directed learning. Teachers also realized that not everything is possible to be transferred to the student's mind in a 40-minute session. And frankly telling, not everything needs to be transferred. What is really important is that the student be stimulated to go ahead and effect learning on his own. What needs to be tested is not the ability of regurgitating that which is being taught, but the ability of learning to learn. These were some of the drastic changes in curriculum which were seen. And also the very fact that now teachers understood that it is not important that all teaching has to be effected through a lecture method with the students being a passive audience. I think that is the biggest shift that we have seen as far as curriculum planning is concerned. Also, right in the beginning, it was very important that syllabus has to be covered. I'm so glad that curriculum is now being unpacked, not with an aim to cover syllabus so that an exam can be taken at the end of say 6 months or at the end of 3 months. Now it is all about how the student is learning, how interested is the student in learning to do a lot of research on his or her own, and how is the student presenting that which he or she has learned. Earlier, it used to be only in terms of homework assignments, but now it is virtual discussions, it is breakout rooms and collaborative activities, it is video logs which the students have given. And this has enriched the curriculum so much, so much. I think this was a much needed change, and ironical that it took a pandemic to make us all realize that education is not about passing examinations and scoring 93 and 94% and coming first in the class. And today, I know I am looking forward to going out of this session and joining my students and teachers on a virtual platform to celebrate Teachers' Day, where the students have taken the efforts to, work upon projects and work upon ideas that they are going to be presenting to us. It's all going to be their endeavor. So for me, understanding the new normal in terms of curriculum has been to realize that a much needed shift from rote learning, a much needed shift from passive learning, a much needed shift from redesigning the curriculum around learner-centric processes, around learning to learn rather than passing an examination has happened. And if this would not have happened, perhaps we would not have been in a better position to understand the dynamics of the new education policy. Because imagine trying to implement the new education policy with the mind frame of 34 years behind, because that's how behind we were actually in the teaching and learning processes and the transaction of the curriculum in the classroom scenario, in the school scenario. We would have gone slam bang into it absolutely unprepared. But I think the past 6 months have taught us to approach curriculum with a very fluid and a flexible point of view. That's my take on it.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Gupta. See, I mean, as soon as you speak new normal, I think it has a very narrow understanding among people. They immediately switch on to understand that it's a digital learning. Okay. And if you say then, I mean, new normal, how the school would be looking like, they say, okay, the school will be mostly on digital platform. It's not. When you look at the new normal, what I borrow from Mrs. Gupta's talk, the new normal is a complete shift. There's a complete shift of education. And when we talk about curriculum, it is not only the syllabus, it's not only the content, because we have the syllabus is only a part of a curriculum, which we call it is a written curriculum. And the pedagogy is a taught curriculum. And when you assess, we say assist curriculum. So curriculum embrace everything. So when you talk the new normal, we mean that we like to move away from the staggered kind of a all days together. Teachers come and write on the board and show something on the smart board or give the notes, and same kind of examination at the end of the term or end of the month or end of the year. So shifting to new normal, transition to new normal means all these things need to change. In a country which has been heavily dependent on examination, and our education system is an examination meritocracy. So this pandemic has made us realize that examination meritocracy has little or no value in the real sense of education. And how well the teachers within no time sprang into action, become very tech savvy, adopted this thing and conducted everything. Today, I think almost all schools are conducting their Teachers' Day online, which was not known. And the student, they have done amazingly using this technology. So technology is a part. So I always tell people that let technology not to be the master, let technology to be the assistant. So with this, I come to my next speaker, Mrs. Sapna Sankal. Mrs. Sapna, could you please express your view maybe on pedagogy, assessment in the new normal?
Yeah. A very happy morning once again to everyone. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, Sapna, you are very, very clear, very audible.
Oh, thank you so much. Okay. So I just want to begin by wishing my teachers Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, since it's the time of Teachers' Day today, a very, very eventful day indeed. And apart from that, I also would like to profoundly thank the Think Unique Info Media for having invited me as a panelist for this Eduleader Virtual Summit. Yes, as we were talking about the new normal and what is the stand the school should take to carry forward the education scenario. What had happened was, with the advent of the pandemic, the world started revolving in a different directional spin than usual, and the educationists' minds were flooded with the thoughts. In fact, we were just thinking about whether the school year will unfold as we had planned, and whether we would be able to meet all the curricular goals and also the expectations and so on. And the Perplexed Academy again found online classes as a respite to bring the classroom at home for the students. But then, whenever we go in for a change, it does not happen just like that. There are so many queries coming forward. And we just had so many queries. For example, Do we require a teacher training apart from what the usual B.Ed offers to train the prospective teachers to deal a class online? Do we need pedagogy for online classes, as you mentioned just now? And while holding teaching learning process using different modes of virtual platforms, what should be the teaching strategies, teaching approaches, and more than that, cyber psychology, which a teacher should use? And while there are schools not holding online classes, even now there are schools because there exists children with limited or no internet access at all. And what is the school should devise to bridge gap with this digital divide among the students with high tech, low tech, and no tech at all? And among many other consequences, the pandemic has made us to think, can a digital device be a replacement of a physical classroom? But whatever be the doubts and anxiety surrounding these online classes, eventually the teachers took up the onus of transacting knowledge through various online modes, wearing the mantle of online instructors and an absolute focus on learning. And it was actually a step-by-step process, just like we go with the training management. Training of the teachers, the students was the first and foremost thing we had to do. But prior to that, I feel
And people are not able to hear you. People are not able to hear you.
Swapna ma'am, your audio is not audible and the video also frozen. Could you please check it once? Well, I think we lost her. I think I lost her. Can I just request Mrs. Sailaja Reddy if you could come in? And if you can share something in the assessment, which has been the tough, well, for almost all the teachers, and I thought I'd give you the toughest talks to speak on this new normal assessment or during this pandemic, how the assessment to be done, because that has been a very, very tough time. So I think you can take up. Okay.
This is really tough for me too. But as teachers, we are figuring it out. Well, we have the platforms available to us, whether it is Kahoot or various platforms to conduct these assessments. But at the same time, the challenge is the fair practice. It always trickles down to that we are able to prepare questionnaires and give the challenges to children. And it has become, in fact, very easy. After every session, we see a Google form dropping down and children get to answer a few questions. So we understand, we take the poll, whether the teacher is able to reach out or not, and how alert the children are online, and all that happens during the classes. But then when it comes to summing it up, the entire learning, then we have challenges because the multiple choice questions are easy. We just go ahead with the Google form and the children tick the right answer, and then we gather all the responses and sum it up. But then when it is the subjective and the descriptive way of answering questions, then especially in second language like Hindi and Sanskrit and all, we have challenges. And also in, guiding the children to take it up in a fair way. That is the whole question now. The open textbook-based assessment is in place, but then we always have a footnote there that use the right practice and do it in a fair way and submit. So we are using Google Classrooms or any such platforms to for the children to write the answers and then upload it, so that the written part is also taken care of. We ensure that the children do pen it down, their thoughts and the answers and their responses, and then they take a photograph, they click it, and then they scan, and then they upload it, and then the teachers check that. So this is that is one area where we are trying to work out and improve ourselves. But then overall, I would say that the assessment frequency has certainly increased, and children are being administered with various tests so that we come to know about their learning status. So that is one thing that is happening. I'm looking forward to the decisions that are being taken by our CBSE board and the IB board, and we are looking forward to what is going to come and how are they going to implement the nationwide, examinations that are awaited. I'm very hopeful that we will, by then this pandemic will end and we will get back into our classrooms and children will go through the traditional way of, writing, appearing for the examinations.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Reddy. Well, I mean, I recall that when it started sometimes in the month of, I mean, in India, I think we were lucky that our session was almost over, okay? Except few examination, we are almost through. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened with all this annual exam, with the 100 marks exam and all, how it would have managed. A lot of time I use that word called academic honesty. Academic honesty play very, very important role at this juncture. And what you mentioned, that the fairness, okay, and that was the concern for almost all the teachers that were, and I mean, there are some certain areas, I mean, where the internet connectivity is very, very weak. The teachers started using the WhatsApp, okay, and so of course, I mean, we can do different kinds of form. If you are not investing on assessment, if the school is going to invest on assessment, there are plenty of software available in the market which conduct the examination very, very well. One of them is an ExamNet, okay, which has been developed particularly for conducting the examination in Southeast Asia and European countries, and at a lot of schools they have taken it. But if in case you are not, somebody is not investing on assessment, okay, so of course this Google form, what she has mentioned, that has been taken care of very well. And my way of looking at the thing, you are not going to assess how much the children remember the facts and figures. Your assessment process, as it should be called assessment for learning. So from that assessment, if you will be able to, the teachers would be able to judge how the learning process has taken place, what is the learning gap, and what are the ways the learning can be improved. That should be the purpose of the assessment. In our case, we mostly assess to award something to the student. We don't measure that where our teaching has some kind of a deficiency. So it should be an assessment for learning. And in this regard, I can tell, I mean, the teachers can prepare their own question, even if you can have an open book test. Even the students can open the book and can write, but it should be in such a way that questions which are coming on what you are doing the assessment, that should not be based on memorization or remembering facts and figures. That is the place where the question of academic honesty would be coming. If you give something to student and a question based on analytical thinking, okay, if you ask the student question that solving problems, so in that case, everybody individually, they can get a form. Suppose if you have a 40 student can get 40 different Google form. Or if you divide it into 10, so 10 students will be getting a similar kind of question, and you can group them and you can do it. That will be a golden opportunity for the assessment. And as she mentioned, that number of assessment may also go very, very high, and then you will be able to map the learning. Thank you so much, Mrs. Reddy. So may I come to my next speaker, Mr. Bhushan Kumar. Mr. Kumar, what is your opinion about this kind of a curriculum we should do it in the new normal? Whether we maintain the curriculum what was there, or we should come back or try to ensure that some effective curriculum which will be able to prepare our children to address the uncertain situation. Address uncertain situation will be preparing the global citizen. So our curriculum in the post-COVID-19, how the curriculum would be projected. Mr. Bhushan Kumar.
Yes. So I'll go as per the alignment given by you, sir.
Sure, please, sir. If you can throw some light for my attendees, panelists, audience.
Listening to you, I can say that, yes, during this uncertain time, the pandemic time and the time of new normalcy, bringing in the best to the schools, we as educators are like a candle who consume itself to light the ways for others. So we are at the place where technology at this time has brought all of us together. New learning for everyone. If I look at the teachers, the educators, they have picked up technology very fast with the support, the SOPs, the pedagogic structure to the classroom has enriched within that session of 30 to 40 minutes, which is not face to face, but if we say 5 to 6 sessions for a age group of 8 to 14 or 8 years to 16 years child, we're giving them 5 to 6 sessions every day. And it is more like a full-fledged curriculum going online. The teacher is taking care of all the 7 C's, which has to be, very profoundly seen. The care, the first thing is the care, because the child has to be made comfortable. The communication, the connect, the collaboration, the collaborative activity which is going online, the activities which are planned are the ones which the students can easily participate, and with the resources and the limitations at home, they can do it. The kind of conviction the teachers have brought back. If I look at our periodic assessments which happened, we have brought almost 98% of the students appearing those. And even if to the places where the network connectivity was low, because if I look at schools in the tier B and the tier C and the D cities, the network connectivity to the students, which are 48 to 50% of the students coming from villages, the network connectivity is an issue. But with 98% and above students appearing, we had brought the technology the on a lower platform on PHP to assess. The Google Forms were still scribed. We had trained the teachers for Google Forms, but we connected through a simple app which was created for the students to assess. This type of questions which were added there were more on their understanding and application. So it was not a direct remembering question from the book. It was from within the chapter. So our focus through the educators were mainly to focus on comprehending, on understanding, on applying what they are understanding side by side. So even at the end of the session, if there's a Google form popping up, the child answers the questions related to what he has learned. And after he has answered, his response is sent, a copy is sent back to the child. But within the next 24 hours before the next session, he gets the correct response of the questions which were asked, so that when the next session happens, he knows the answer and he can clarify with the teacher if there are certain doubts or gap areas. The focus which went was to ask, acquire, and acknowledge. We told our students to be asking, to be acquiring and acknowledging what they're gaining. The time which has brought what we say, the focus was learning to learn. And all educators in this present century have got three loves: the love of learning, the love of learners, and love of bringing the first two together. So this love has brought that gap area being filled up. I would say those 5 Ds which are focused for our learners are they they are disciplined, they're getting disciplined on and ethical on the online learning. They are focused during their classes. Even in the pre-primary and in the grade 1 and the 2, if the students at this time are with 99% attendance attending those sessions, I think we are at the right track. At this uncertain time, the structural approach you follow to bring in pedagogy into the classroom, making it a total child-centric approach, and the learner going with the thought process to become a good human being, a learner through the educator, picking up all the 21st century skills, the culture and the values, gaining knowledge in the right way. I think that's what is the need of the hour, and we are all doing it at this right way, because as passionate, positive people, we have built up processes, and we have to, if there are processes which require revisiting, we should do it, because the way forward is all the hybrid approach of learning which has to go. Online and offline has to go on. Even if the schools open, the schools would have those hybrid learning. Maybe all students not attending the class on the same day, 50% coming on the first day and the 50% on the next day. It's yet, or bringing in only those classes for which you can maintain those regulatory norms, see that the safety and the children health is taken care, they are safe, because each child coming from different family can be a dynamite if he goes infected. But what is more important at this time is bringing in all educators together, bringing in that value knowledge skill building to the educators. Let their value system be strong, the integrity and authenticity, the growth mindedness and open mindedness, the humility and compassion for each one of them, giving them space, helping them learn, should be our approach. uh, I would say that helping child get disciplined, determined, devoted, dedicated, and helping the child to dream big would be a time for us to go ahead and bringing in that technology intervention, whether it's through Zoom, the connectivity to the children through Zoom or Microsoft Team, or it can be Google Classrooms, it can be, Microsoft, you can use any of the medium to connect, but bandwidth again plays a role. Offline learning has to play a role, whether it's the content is being shared through a link on the WhatsApp, or it's shared as a recorded lesson, or a link of a recorded lesson on Microsoft Team, going to the child when the resource comes back home. Maybe a parent has a single mobile, so he is able to go through the lesson, help the child learn, and even respond to the worksheets, or respond to the homework which has been done, so that he can keep pace with everyone, all learners in that classroom. And the processes which we have built up during this time, we all agree that all of this came as a surprise, but all as passionate, positive educators, everyone went through this particular cycle, and immediately had that spiral learning happening, so that we could take our students together to the next platform. So the technology would play a great role in the time to come, with all the equivalence of whether the school has an ERP or they have a system to connect. The network connectivity is something which you are dependent on the third party. And when this all works, I think the learning can go on. And as true learners, we have to push that every child learns and see that growth, because when you're talking of a progress report or a progress card for the child, the progress should bring in the the child from low order thinking skills to a high order thinking skill, bringing his focus more towards his application, analysis, and creativity. Helping the child evolve would be our great focus, and let's together build up such environment for our team, for our teachers, for our students, so that they are non-stoppable. They are going ahead. Pandemic time has taught us a great lot, has brought us a lot of learning. The first thing, it has given us opportunity to learn. At the time when the whole team was, the first 15 days were a bit shattered, suddenly everyone brought their ideas together. With the technology playing a role, everyone learned the skills in a week, and they were back to the classrooms. In April first week, the session started as normal. And we brought the students, when the initial strength was almost 60%, now has gone to 98, 99%. With all the newcomers attending the school, and the CBSE or the educational guidelines or the state guidelines have played their role. They are all abided. Parents are playing a great role back at home. With their support, you can help this particular child, your product, growing with all that 21st century skills. So I would say that it's a happy Teachers Day, but yes, it's happy Learners Day for each one of us, to say that we are all together in this uncertain time. And with a child-centric approach, we are helping everyone learn the best way and making the child a 21st century skilled child with that culture and the value, and he should grow. Which means for us, the growth lies to say genius people run an extra mile to cross all of obstacles and have a win-win situation and put all the thinking skills ahead, keeping their health as priority. Thank you, sir. I had it over back to you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bhushan Kumar. I think with this line, I like to add a couple of things. What is the need of the hour is, see, next generation learning ecosystem. The school need to function and school need to modify or the transit for a next generation learning system. Basically, we are very focused or fixed on the standardized thing, standardized test, standardized curriculum, standardized teaching. This time, which offer opportunity to coming out from the standardization and moving to more personalized learning. So this would be the need of the hour, which the world is trying to achieve. The learning need to be more personalized, not the similar kind of test for every child. The learning space, every child will not be able to learn at the same speed, which this pandemic has given an opportunity for all of us to offer the learning space for different child. So this would be very important for all the school heads, the school teachers to work on personalized learning. Personalized learning is going to dominate the world for another 1 or 2 centuries. So maybe 22nd centuries, the buzzword would be the personalized learning, which already started personalized learning. And this also have been found that a lot of parents are preferring homeschooling. Homeschooling was not very popular in our country. Now this pandemic has opened up the how important and closely looking at the homeschooling option. So this is also need to be looked at that how it can be materialized. My next speaker is Mr. S.C. Sharma. Mr. S.C. Sharma, you are here? Mr. S.C. Sharma?
He's there. He's there.
Yes, Mr. Sharma. So
Hello,
Mr.
am I
Sharma?
audible, sir?
Yes, Mr. Sharma, you are very much audible. So if you could kindly speak on something on the role of teachers in the new normal, how the teacher's role will be transitioning from our pre-pandemic to post-pandemic situation. Yes, Mr. Sharma, you can start.
If your video,
Hello, guys.
if your signal is weak, you can switch off your video so that the entire bandwidth will come for your audio, because world over people have to listen to you.
Exactly.
Please.
Mr. Sharma, if you may switch off your video.
Yeah, sir, am I audible now?
Yes, please go ahead. Fantastic.
All right. Yeah, sir, thank you very much.
You have a fantastic visual. You have a fantastic visual too.
Okay, sir. All right, sir.
Please start.
Yeah, sir. In this pandemic scenario, it has really become a great challenge, particularly for the teachers, to overcome it. So basically, the teachers, those who are computer savvy, the teachers, those who are technological sound, for them, it is not a great problem for them. They can easily just overcome the situation. The other thing, that the technical support team, if helping them out, particularly teachers, those who are taking regular classes, online classes, and technical support team is particularly active, all right, where whatever challenges are there for the teachers when teaching learning process is going on, so for them, it will be quite easy to take the classes. As far as I know, my team means I'm also a teacher. I'm teaching. So our teachers are facing a lot of problems, technological problems. Network glitches are there. So I would like to suggest particularly the parents, that whenever they are allowing their children to attend virtual classes, so the gadgets should be very strong. Means network should be very fine, and now the devices which they are using, okay, should be up to mark. And in this scenario, it is a challenge for the parent also, that they should also learn something. See, before allowing the children to attend the online classes, okay, it is quite important for the parents to just learn something. Actually, we are in the mega cities, where we are technologically very sound. We have equipments, we have means devices. It might not be problem for them, but think about the rural areas. Think think about the areas where people are not at all aware about the apps. Like Zoom app has become, just like a boon for the teachers. This time for the schooling, Zoom app has become a great boon for them. Okay, now where ERP system is there, like we are using very strong ERP system. Okay, so here my point is this, that the teachers, those who are just taking classes, for them, that they should go through certain means trainings. Some trainings should be there for the teachers as well, so that there should not be any kind of problem for them taking virtual classes. All right. So, sir, I will not be speaking much. I'll just bind up my words here only. I would like to listen all the others. Thank you very much, sir.
Arupji, I can't see you. Arupji, I can't see you. Where is our? I can't. I can't see. Where is Arupji? I can't see Arupji over here. Anyway, we can have one more round. Ah, there he is. There he is. Arupji, are you there? Are you there, Arupji? Okay. What we can do is we can have 1 minute each, and we can just give the final round, everyone. Let's start with Pratima ma'am.
Well, what is most important that has to be seen in the transition of teaching learning processes from the pre-pandemic to the post-pandemic time is that the teacher-student connect should not be compromised. More than ever, we have to be aware and sensitive to the nuances of socio-emotional aspects of maturity of the person. And teachers have to understand that we may not always have the facility of physical communication, group hugs or high fives, or patting a student on the back, even when they come back to school, are not going to be there. What is going to matter is words. What is going to matter is tone. What is going to matter is emotional nurturing of relationships within the four walls of a classroom and outside. And therefore, I feel that the teacher in the new normal has to be an extremely sensitive and an extremely sensible individual, and that applies to the society at large. Let us not lose out on the human connect in our bid to ace education in the virtual medium or later on as well. Schools are, have to be the cradle of understanding people.
Oh, ma'am, your internet has also gone. Shalja ma'am. Shalja ma'am.